Hi everyone. This video is about Karmic Tail 3722 in Matrix of Destiny. So each Karmic Tail consists of three energies, and each energy in Matrix have certain characteristics when the energy is in balance and when energy is in disbalance. So when we talk about Karmic Tail 3722, 22nd energy will be the main energy in this case because it's located at the very bottom. And I will go over the main characteristic of 22nd energy first, then I'll move to 7th and 3rd. So when 22nd energy is in balance, it's about freedom. It's about being spontaneous, being happy, being it's kindness and joy. It's being able to live in the present moment with open heart, with trust and gratitude, seeing beauty in the simple things. It's being able to sometimes collect your few belongings and move to travel, or being able to start from scratch all over again without any regrets. It's being able to adjust easily to any circumstances, any conditions. It's thinking outside the box, finding creative solutions to different problems. It's also about getting along with children. And so when 22nd energy is in balance, those people, they're so happy, they have that inner freedom, and they're free of any restrictions, any judgments, and other people feel that. And kids, they do feel that right away. So they're getting connected to the person with the balanced 22nd energy right away. It's also believed that the people who have 22nd energy on any major position in matrix statistically very often have 3 kids. This is just to remember, and I will mention this a little bit later too. So they have acting skills, but their creativity and acting skills usually open up when they feel comfortable, when they feel free, when they're not restricted, and they have that inner freedom. And they have also a great sense of humor. They usually have very bright smiles, so it's hard to not to notice it. Kind of a smile that Julia Roberts has. So it's their eyes usually just shining with joy when they're happy. So it's that true happiness that just they vibrate with. But when 22nd energy is in disbalanced, what it may give, as we know, each energy when it's in disbalance can have one extreme or the other extreme. So with the 22nd energy, one extreme would be being too childish, too irresponsible, not willing to follow any rules. And that could be to the extreme of having a social lifestyle. So let's say an adult knows that he needs to, if he rents, let's say an apartment, they need to pay bills. So the person with the very disbalanced 22nd energy doesn't want to follow any rules. Sometimes even starting a family feels like it's a restriction and they may be afraid of it. So, of course, having a social lifestyle is a very deep extreme, but it may happen. So if we look at the people with that lifestyle, most likely they have 22nd energy in very deep disbalance. It's not necessarily located in karmic tail, but it's just there in their matrix of destiny. It also gives that immaturity. With low moral principles, they may be willing to get free, easy money, to the extreme of like getting into crimes. And it's well, it's never a good idea, but when somebody has 22nd energy, and they go into crime, let's say, um, others may not be caught, but most likely this person with the 22nd energy will be caught, and there is a high risk of getting into jail. So just to remember. So 22nd energy in this extreme would be like being full, getting into very strange, foolish situations with when everybody is just going, how crazy is that? How could it be this? Or people are laughing at that person and things like that. So it's also being very unreliable as a partner, when the person just wakes up and he, let's say, doesn't want to keep up promises. And I will mention about the promises later on, because with this karmic tail, you do have eighth energy in the center. And I didn't put it in my presentation, but I will mention it a little bit later. So they're just being that, kind of like a fool who is making fun of it. They may also get into different dependencies. So let's say it's very important who surrounds you, like what people surrounds you. So let's say the person with 22nd energy in karmic tail, when it's disbalanced, is getting into company that has a bad influence. Others may have fun with alcohol or drugs, and then next morning they're fine, or they're not getting into that they're not gaining dependency. But the person with 22nd energy may not have a strong will to get over it, and they may get into the situation when they're become alcohol dependent or drugs dependent. So the first extreme is being too worry free, too foolish, and another extreme is being too serious about everything. So these balanced 22nd energies not being attached to anything. So the person can start from scratch at any moment. So they're not attached to any like material possessions or job, or they just, if they don't feel free, they have will to get away from it, to change and to start from all over again. Or let's say they're not happy with the relationships, they can just break up and move on. But when 22nd energy is in disbalance, uh, you may have a strong attachments to material possessions, to certain people, to colleagues or paychecks, or certain jobs. So let's move toward the seventh energy. So when main qualities of the seventh energy in balance is those people are being very active. This energy is called like a warrior energy. So they're good with setting up goals and achieving those goals, and they're like an arrow. They have a goal and they're moving into that direction and achieving it. So they usually have a very good career growth. They have strong will, very good leadership skills. And with seventh energy, it's really good to be in the team, being like a team leader, because seventh energy gives you that ability to see who is the best of doing this or that. So you're very good with managing people, with seeing how you can achieve as a team, you can achieve a certain goal together. But seventh energy balanced is not doing it, not putting any pressure on anybody. So they run, they're leader, they're in front of everybody, so others can run to follow, basically follow him or her, right? But without pressure. They are very ambitious. They, like I said, build a good career. They have good communication skills. They're very open. They're usually into some sort of sports. They travel a lot. It's good for them to drive, let's say drive a car, or any transportation, to be kind of like in a driver's seat, because that's when seventh energy is happy. So main qualities of imbalanced seventh energy would be fighting, kind of like seeing enemies in every stranger, always ready to fight, creating those conflicts from nothing. It may give a tendency to be very competitive. So basically, the seventh energy on the positive level is competing with how we achieved goals yesterday and how we achieve it today. But seventh energy disbalance is competing with others. So it's a high level of aggression, willingness to achieve goals at any cost, no matter how it will influence others. Or another extreme. So one extreme is being very active. It's being active to the point where you put so much pressure on others. So let's say you need to travel somewhere, right? So instead of just being effective within like 2 hours and prepare everything you need, you would start from the morning and you would put so much pressure, like we need to do this and this and that. So everybody's trying to hide because you are putting so much pressure on them. So another extreme would be being very passive, living with no purpose, with no goals, or setting up wrong goals, not listening to what's your true goals. Where are you going? Are you going to be happy once you achieve those goals? So sometimes disbalanced seventh energy gives that you kind of feel you need to have a goal, but you're not sure where you're going. So you're just looking around. Okay, those people going over there, maybe I need to go there. And this is not the right way of doing it. So basically, this is imbalanced seventh energy. Because once the wrong goals are achieved, it will not give you any satisfaction. So once the goals are achieved, you put so much effort into it, so much energy, and at the end, you're not happy about it. So this is the seventh energy, and let's move to the third energy. So third energy, it's called the Empress. When it's balanced, it gives a person ability to manage resources, being very skillful at this. It's both resources, material and human resources. So third energy can give you that skills to be a good manager. It's been successful in both career or business and taking care of the family. When this energy is balanced, you can do both. It also gives that financial security and willingness to gain a good social status. It's about accepting feminine side of yourself. So as we know, every person have feminine and masculine side of them. So this is accepting that feminine side, the side that takes care of others. It's about healthy relationships with mother and women in general, understanding women, and it may give handcrafting skills as well. And usually when we talk about third and fourth energy, we kind of need to split because some characteristic will be a little bit different for men and women. So the main qualities of third energy when it's in disbalance for women, it would be investing all energy to either family and kids and taking care of the house, or career and business. So when there is no balance, so it's either one or the other. And both ways are not ideal, only because that woman will not be happy with the things that are going. So if there is no investment of your energy in career or business, you won't be happy that you only have family. Though it may look perfect, but you may start being over controlling, maybe even sometimes aggressive, and it will come from that inner unsatisfaction, because you do have that potential of doing both, family and career, or kids and business. So it's not ideal for you to pick either or. And also, disbalanced third energy may sometimes give you that tendency to demand too much attention to yourself. So you feel you're an empress. Sometimes you can put yourself above others, and this is also a negative characteristics of third energy. And usually, when third energy is in karmic tail of a matrix of a woman, um, most likely there will be some tension with mother. In males charts, usually it's a too much of attachment to mother. In But it can be both. It's just I'm talking about in majority of cases there will be some conflicts with mother in females matrix, and too much of attachment and too much softness in male chart, when, let's say, a man is attached too much to mother, and then he's looking for a partner who will replace mother. So being soft, not taking responsibility, putting that responsibility on someone else. um, and so conflicts with mother is another thing that's very common with the third energy in the karmic tail. As I mentioned, third, and both third, by the way, and fourth energies, they do like to have a high social status. They're trying to gain that. However, when it's in karmic tail, sometimes the person does not want to take that responsibility, doesn't want to take the effort of it, but he or she still worries about that, worries about financial insecurity, because there is too much of attachment to material things. There could be greediness. So this is the qualities of when third energy is in imbalanced. So next, I'll go to the common scenarios of this karmic tail 3722. So very often, people with this karmic tail, they they find themselves in a situation when they feel kind of prisoned. They feel they don't have freedom in their life. It may happen in the early childhood when the baby is born in a family with very strict parents, when they could be even abusive parents. And it may be that the person, when being an adult, is getting into relationships with a very abusive partner, a very controlling partner, when your freedom is restricted. Sometimes it may happen that, let's say, a person, like I mentioned before, willing to get easy money. Maybe it could be that the person is getting married with another person without true feelings, just to get money, and then they find themselves feeling in that golden cage, right? When they're restricted and they do get a good financial situation, but their freedom is restricted, and they feel like being in prison. It could happen both that the person have strict parents, and then the person have a controlling partner. You may also have that you getting into situation at work when you have a very demanding boss, and no matter what you do, that the boss isn't happy and demand even more. I'll mention again the eighth energy in the center of your matrix. When eighth energy is in balance, you're very responsible, but you may have a tendency to take even more responsibility onto you, and then you find in a situation when you basically prisoned by your promises. So you promised to do so much at work, you took so much on your shoulders, that you don't have freedom. You have to complete all of the projects or whatever it is, and you kind of feel prisoned at work. But you have to be very careful analyzing the situation, because sometimes it's that you're using those promises or using your hectic schedule as a cover. You're hiding behind it. So you basically um, saying, I cannot do this because I have work, or I cannot do this because my husband or my wife wouldn't be happy. So you kind of shifting responsibility for the situation you're in onto another person or onto a situation you're in, not taking responsibility for that situation. So it's about not being able to set your personal boundaries, to say no, not being able to have that perfect balance when you do have freedom of being, having some time for yourself, and you haven't job to do, but you still have freedom. Another scenario that may happen is that, like I mentioned before, the desire of easy money leads to crime, and as a result, the person ends up in jail. But this is like the most extreme you can imagine, extreme situation with this karmic tail. So I'm just saying, not be afraid of it, because the having 22nd energy in the karmic tail doesn't mean you'll get into jail, but just know that the risk is always there, basically, right? And also to mention that with this karmic tail, unplanned pregnancies are very common, because if you combine that three is about kids, 22 is about kids as well, but 22 is also about surprises. And also just to mention that when third energy is in karmic tail, and in this case it's located in a point of where the relationship line starts. So having third energy on a low level will influence your relationships. So just like I said, just to mention, abortions will bring third energy onto lower level, and it will affect your relationship. Same as having conflicts with mother, or being judgmental of your mother, will also affect your relationship in a bad way. Okay, so what are the recommendations of this karmic tale? It's good to learn to set up your personal boundaries. And let's say if you have a child with this karmic tale, it's good to teach them from early childhood to stand up for yourself, to feel those boundaries, not to take too, not give too much promises as well, but just take responsibility for your own life. And with eighth energy in the center, eighth energy is about understanding karmic law. It's about balance. It's about action and consequences. So to have that eighth energy on a positive, on a good balanced level, it's good to understand karmic law. It's good to take responsibilities for anything that happens into your life. Understand that if you find yourself in a situation when you feel present and there is something that you can do to change it, you should do it. It's also having that understanding. And I'm not talking about just reading about that, I'm talking about having true understanding of that karmic law inside of you, have that inner understanding, living by that understanding. It will lead you to the idea that you need to forgive those who present you previously, who present you in the past. So let's say you were an adult and you did have strict parents. You need to understand that it's not a coincidence. It's not just a bad luck that you were born in that family. Everything happens for the reason, and everything happens for something, you know. And by the way, with this karmic tail, sometimes people, let's say when they had that hard childhood, probably they were abused or something. Sometimes they, as being an adult, they become lawyers. They protect other kids because they know, you know, kids cannot protect themselves. So they feel that pain. They understand how hard it is, and they become lawyers to protect those kids. And this is very good to improve your karmic tail as well. It's improving your karmic tail, the situation like I just mentioned when the person becomes a lawyer. I'm not saying that everybody needs to become a lawyer. I'm just giving you an example because you may find that sometimes you may be surrounded by, let's say, by people or your loved ones who are getting into jail. In that case, it's very good not to turn your back onto them, because sometimes if you may, and you have that inner that comes from previous lives, you have that inner kind of willingness to push it away, because that topic, when you have a lack of freedom, is so painful to you that you don't want to deal with this anyhow. But if you don't turn your back and you support them, and I'll mention later how to what kind of support you can provide to them. It's basically will improve your energies in this karmic tail as well. So with this karmic tail, what's the most important? Like I mentioned, 22nd energy, right? But the most important is to achieve the inner freedom, not the freedom of how you feel physically, but your inner freedom. And what's important to understand is that, yes, as your physical, your body can be restricted, right? Let's say being in jail or being in hard situation. However, nothing can restrict your soul and your spirit. So once you learn to feel that inner freedom, that true freedom, that you're free of choosing what feelings to feel, or choosing what thoughts to think, or choosing to wake up with a smile on your face or wake up and being grumpy. So you do have that freedom. And that's the true freedom. That's a true freedom of being happy regardless of the situation. And we all know there were situations even in concentration camp when people didn't give up, and they found that freedom that helps them to live through unbelievable difficult circumstances and conditions. So this is the inner freedom I'm talking about. And once you have that inner freedom, your creativity will open up. So you need to remember, forgive those who present you before. Don't give too much promises to take responsibility for your own words. And this is good for your eighth energy as well, because eighth energy is about keeping your promises, keeping your words, and being responsible for your actions. And also, of course, avoid restricting freedom of other people. Help others if they get into difficult situations, and have that courage to step into unknown, because 22nd energy is being brave. Trust the universe that, you know, the higher power will help you somehow, and be spontaneous, be creative, let your creativity to unfold, travel, and be active. So what potential of this karmic tail once all three energies are balanced? It's a potential of achieving that true inner freedom when you can open up that those outside of the box ideas, when you stay loyal to your dreams, to your goals, and you take responsibility for anything that happens in your life. You can skillfully lead the team to achieving goals and just achieving amazing results. Sky's the limit here, right? So it's ability to be happy, to bring joy and fresh air to others. And you do have that potential. It's good if you travel a lot. It's good when you have a team that's being united, not because there are restrictions or because they have to, but because they're willing to. Because you create a team where there is freedom, there is creativity, there is no judgment, and third energy, of course, will also give that financial security, financial stability, and good high social status. Well, this is all for this karmic tale. I hope you found it helpful, and please leave your comments, your feedback, and share your stories, how it resonates with you. And I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.